Right here at the Wankhede 12 long years ago, when generations of Indian cricket fans bathed in ecstasy. Gautam Gambhir's fight, Mahendra Singh Dhoni's shot sailing into the stands, Ravi Shastri's voice ringing from the commentary box in our ears even now. But it's been 12 long years that India hasn't lifted the World Cup. So we thought to kickstart India's most important year in international cricket in a long, long time, we kickstart 2023 right here from the Wankhede. It's a year of the World Cup, and I've got some men who know what it takes to be there and accomplish the biggest dream in cricket. Gautam Gambhir from the night of the final, smiling to my right. Kumar Sangakkara, captain of Sri Lanka, hoping that this fan would not be as loud for him to hear clearly at the toss and the many hours after. Chairman of selectors for the Indian team in 2011, himself a World Cup winner from '83, Krishnamacharya Srikanth, and the man who knows what it takes to rise come the finals 2007, still fresh in our minds, Irfan Pathan, and so many fans. Kumar, it's good to see you smiling. It's a nice shirt. I know there are some great memories. Takes a lot to still be in the finals. Before I even go to Gautam, I mean, sure, the result didn't go your way, but a night to remember.
Yeah, it was. I think we as a side played really well right throughout the tournament. We got to the finals, and unfortunately we had an injury to one of our most important players in Angelo Matthews, who was performing brilliantly for us. We had a few newcomers. We had some young guys who came in. But at the same time, we did really well. We posted a competitive total. We had an opportunity when Gigi was on 16, I think, with the long off fielder when he skied one. I think that was the one opportunity once we got the openers that probably would have allowed us, before the dew came in, to try and claw back the game and win. But Gigi played unbelievably well, and MS in the one innings that counted in the whole tournament, he came out and batted beautifully.
You had to wait a couple of years more for the World Cup medal. It came in the T20 format. Wonderful sign, still fresh in our minds. Gautam Gambhir, I know if I talk about the innings, and as everyone would know, Gautam would probably divert it in another direction, being the team man that he is. Gautam, apart from all the things that came together for India to win it, apart from the cricketing knowledge and understanding, what was the one thing that just drove the team towards glory?
Playing for India. And the most important thing was there was a lot of people who were saying that we were playing for one individual. I thought that we were playing for 130 crore Indians. And that is what is more important. When you've got the blessing of 130 crore Indians, what more do you want, and what more motivation do you want when you represent them, and that also at the biggest stage at the World Cup final?
Irfan, you'd obviously been at the final in 2007. Brother was playing, part of that 2011 World Cup. Do you have memories? Where were you? Did you call him almost immediately after, or did you have to wait a while before he had his phone with him?
No, absolutely. I called him as soon as the final finished, and they were champion, and I was watching from home. I was doing my rehab at that time, quite a few injuries, isn't it? But look, it was such a happy moment to see Indian team excel. And what really stood out for me in that World Cup was surprise element of Zahir Khan. You know, the kind of surprise element he gave to the whole world with that knuckle ball. I think that's the standout thing for me in that particular World Cup, because whole world got surprised by that. I remember getting Hasi got out as well, and Yuvraj Singh's outstanding performance. Those two things, those two players really took my heart away at that time.
I just want to add one more thing. A lot of people talk about MSS 6, a lot of people talk about my inning as well. The first spell of Zahir Khan in that World Cup final, 5 overs, 4 maidens, 4 for nothing. That is what set the tone. No one will talk about it. We have never spoken about it, but that is the contributions what that team had. People will keep talking about MS getting that 6 over long on, me getting that 90 odd, but I thought it was Zahir Khan who had set the tone for that entire World Cup final. We were only able to finish off that game.
Well, a lot of credit for that goes to the entire selection panel and the chairman. Were you sitting back? Did you just put your feet up and said, "Well done, Krishnamacharya Srikanth and the boys. We've done our job well"?
No, I think it was a good team effort. You have to understand one thing. I mean, World Cup, especially, Sangha knows it. I mean, Irfan and Gautam, they'll all accept with me. It's all about teamwork, and it's all a question of combination that you pick for the team. You need some fantastic guys who can play some fantastic shots up in the order. You need a guy like Gautam Gambhir to hold on the innings together. Then you need somebody like Yuvraj Singh or Dhoni to go and fire in the later stages. And we had some fantastic good all-rounders and half all-rounders, which is what we need, half all-rounders. When I say half all-rounders, batters who can bowl, bowlers who can bat. But as you said about Zach, just to talk about Zach, I'll never forget the match against England, man. Again, in Bangalore. We were just literally out. Remember Gautam? And he came and bowled a deadly spell and it went on for a tie. That match was a tie at Bangalore against England.
I remember
What
when
a
he got
spell
that
he
wicket of
bowled.
Andrew Strauss.
What a spell he bowled. So Zach was something fantastic, as Gautam said very rightly. But overall, it was a great team effort. What I liked about the team is somebody was chipping in. And Gautam was there. Virat Kohli was superb. Sachin and Sehwag contributing every now and then. I think it was a superb team effort. Ultimately, cricket is all about team effort, my dear friends. Be it 83 World Cup, be it 2011 World Cup. It's all about team effort.
It hasn't changed. You could call it a cliche, but teamwork makes a dream work. It was a dream team. And why we've gathered here today is because 140 crore Indians are still dreaming that they get another chance to celebrate the same way in 2023. Remember, India starts out the home season, 3 ODIs against Sri Lanka, then come New Zealand for 3 matches, then comes Australia, then you've got the IPL, you've got the big Asia Cup in the 50-over format before the World Cup that will be played in India after 12 long years. That's in October, November. And we've all gathered here with this elite panel to try and discuss India's chances, where we stand, what are the learnings, and how could we reclaim that glory. Both of you, let me just put you on the spot, since you've been here on the night of the final. Of course, given the conditions, India walks in with that home advantage. Sangha, if you were to, it's very early in the day. But where do you peg India's chances in this 2023 50-over World Cup?
In the 2023 World Cup, I think cricket's changed quite a lot from 2011. In those days, I would say that you're playing in Asian conditions, you play a lot of spinners, you play on slightly flat tracks with a bit of reverse swing later on. It favors the subcontinental players, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, etc. But over the years, I think England, Australia, New Zealand, they've all learned to play spin a hell of a lot better than even probably the subcontinental sides. You see a lot of the reverse sweeps, switch hits, paddles, all these new strokes, the use of the feet. And I think that's revolutionized how they approach white ball cricket in the subcontinent. The IPL has helped them a lot with the exposure that it's given them. So I think the conditions really wouldn't matter. I think the skill levels have risen to such an extent that sides will start even. And I think whether it's India, of course, the home advantage will be there. They know the grounds. They play a lot of cricket here during the IPL and beyond. But I think a lot of the other sides, England especially, Australia, will all come here, and New Zealand included, thinking that they have a very, very realistic chance of winning a World Cup in the subcontinent. And I wouldn't put it past all of those sides to be at a very high competitive level.
Just 2 seasons of the IPL back then that had been played in India. Very, very valid point that Sangha makes, Gautam. And it's also some of the other teams who are sort of dictating how modern day, not just white ball, not just T20, but even 50-over cricket is played. I'm not going to use the word outdated, but are we still conservative even in the 50-over format? Do India need to change a few things? Let's not use the word template. Let's come up with maybe another word, maybe approach.
Yeah, first you need to identify players who've got that fearless approach as well. And probably in a format like 50 overs, you need to have a mixture of every kind of player as well. You have people who can anchor the inning as well, and Sangha made a very valid point. Change in rule has also made a huge difference. During that time, you only had 1 new ball. Now you've got 2 new balls with 5 fielders inside. So the role of a part-timer has gone out of the window. The reverse swing, you don't see enough reverse swing anymore. You don't see enough purchase for the finger spinners as well. But I always feel that when we talk about this new approach, which India always talks about, the template and stuff, you got to identify players who can adapt those roles or that template very easily. Some people just cannot adapt to that template. So why push them to play in a certain way which doesn't come naturally to them? So for me, I think identifying players and at the same time getting the right mix is very, very important, rather than thinking that we have to play at a certain template, so we got to select all the 15 with a similar mindset or with a similar template. So I feel people like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, all those guys who can anchor the inning and probably can spin really well, will play a massive role come the World Cup.
Well, about 20 odd matches to go before India enters that World Cup. So let's just take it as 20 checkpoints that we have. The entire prep, the entire home season, the Asia Cup and the World Cup will be live right here on the Star Sports Network. So we're here at the Wankhede, the setting for India's last World Cup win. And let's just quickly have a look at the road ahead. What are the challenges at these checkpoints for Team India? Well, for all of us and even the fans, one of the best things about this entire special year 2023 is India's entire journey, the roadmap, All the series will be live right here on the Star Sports Network, including the crowning moment, the World Cup. That's what we're hoping for. Irfan, there's obviously a set of 20-odd players that we've heard after the BCCI review meet. How important will it be for the selectors and everyone to be a bit flexible about this? The IPL's coming up. Just 20 is enough? Or do you think the upcoming IPL after these 9 ODIs will be an important selection criteria?
World Cup is still 9 months away. You can't have just 20 players and just rotate then, and you think that, you're going to find those players only and forget about the rest. And it's not happening. Look, being part of NC as well in terms of coaching courses, and knowing those coaches, what they have done now, they have a clear communication between Indian cricket with Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman and the coaches. They have a 33 target list of players. 33 target list of players apart from the contracted list what we have. So that's a big pool of players we're talking about, not just 20. 20 can't be enough, because if something goes wrong with those 20, be there injuries, be there its form, because 9 months is a long period of time, you need bigger pool of players. And this is where you're going to find. And those 33 target list of players, they can practice anytime. They can work with the coaches. Some of the coaches have different players, like Rajiv Datta has 13 players, 13 spinners who work with him. There are 13 batters with Apurva Desai. There are 13 players with other coaches. They can go and work anytime, and they actually get whole data and they send it to Rahul Dravid. They work together, and that's how it needs to be done, and this is the right way forward. And if that's going to happen consistently, this is where we're going to become world beater, not just with 20 players, big pool of players.
Couple of questions for you, Gautam, because you're also a stakeholder, you're a mentor and a franchisee. The news is also out that the BCCI will work very closely with IPL franchisees to manage workload. And where do you stand? Should they just be focusing on ODIs, or is T20 cricket as important? Should the core group be playing both these formats, or should they just be focused on ODIs this year?
This year ODIs for sure. If they want to take a break, people who are playing all the 3 formats, they can definitely take a break from T20 cricket, but surely not from ODI format. They got to play together. I think the biggest mistake what Indian cricket has made in last probably 2 World Cups has been that these guys have not played enough cricket together. Tell me, how many times have we got the best playing 11 on the park? We haven't. Only during the World Cup we've decided to have the best playing 11, but unfortunately that was never the best playing 11. So these guys have to play enough white ball cricket, especially 50 over World Cup together, irrespective whether they want to take a break from T20 or from the IPL. The break has to happen in T20 format, not in 50 overs.
And as a franchisee point of view, are you...
Look, if franchise have to suffer, they have to suffer. Indian cricket is the main stakeholder, not the IPL. IPL is just the byproduct. So if India goes on to win the World Cup, that is the bigger vision, that is the bigger aim. For example, if an important player do miss the IPL games, so be it. Because IPL happens every year. World Cup happens only once in four years. So for me, I think winning the World Cup is far more important than winning the IPL.
I see a lot of fans nodding as well, and I'm presuming we're at Wankhede. A lot of them are probably fans of Mumbai Indians. Would you be okay if Jasprit Bumrah has to rest, keeping in mind the World Cup as Mumbai fans? Well, they will be. You know the priority. It is the World Cup. Sangha, Chika, I'm going to come to you in terms of communication to the players. But Sangha, England, I mean, you look at the core. They've sort of redefined even their 50-over approach. Should the core be almost the same, or are you of the view as well that focus on ODIs? Is it not just now an extension of T20 cricket for you, how this format is played?
I think T20 has impacted all formats, including Test cricket, positively. But the real key is having your best players available to play for you in the World Cup. And you can't sustain all your best players playing back-to-back cricket in every format and expect all of them to be fit and ready. You've got to really manage the workload. You can have squads of 20, 30, whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you've got to identify very, very early what your core side is, what the core is going to be around which you build all the other players to add on. Because if you take the Indian side, the core, everyone knows what the core is. Everyone knows who the most important players are. And you have a strenuous season ahead. So like Gigi said, you've got to really be smart about how you control that workload. And you have the IPL, you have all of the other cricket, but if it's a one-day World Cup year, that's got to be the main focus. Your best players have to play a lot of ODI cricket. The rest that are in support can be rotated around them, but everyone that you know will stand a fighting chance to be in that 15 must play enough ODI cricket, get enough cricket in their legs and bodies to make sure that they're fit, that they know how to play the ODI game in this year, and they're fluent and they play together as a team. And I'm agree that their ODI skill levels are at an absolute premium to go out there and win a World Cup. So that's got to be the main target, irrespective of whatever happens around that.
Would that your message be, Chika, if you were the selector as well? Not just be in the scheme of things, play together. How many matches, or should they be playing all these matches together?
I agree with whatever Gautam and Aman Sangha said. But I think, in my opinion, I would say by the Australian series is over, by the time the Australian series is over, man, this is going to be my tentative 15. If I was the chairman of selection committee, I would say this is my tentative 15. Then I look into the form in IPL and then make probably slightly minor changes. I can't wait till Asia Cup and say, man, after the Asia Cup, we'll announce the team. No way. By the time the Australia series is over, man, this is going to the 15. Give them, communicate to them, guys, you guys are going to play the World Cup. Come on, do well in the IPL. Keep your form there. Make sure that your fitness is fantastic. Keep going, and that will be the team. That's what I would do if I was the chairman of selection committee.
There you go. The spat felt nice, sir. I know, far away from any chances, but we'll be playing on the Star Sports Network because that's where the World Cup is. That's where all these series are going to be, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on who these players are. In fact, after a short break from our experts, we'll try and identify who are these new players who will form India's core as we approach the World Cup later this year. We've kick-started this very special year for Indian cricket. After 12 long years, the World Cup is coming back to India. India will be hosting it in October, November. We're starting it off at the Wankhede, where on the 2nd of April 2011, India last lifted the World Cup trophy. An elite panel that has joined me here. We've been talking about the chances. Now let's just focus on some of the names. I have a lot of stakeholders sitting behind me. We've identified what this potential list of 20 players could be, as we've heard after the BCCI Review Committee meet. Fans will join me in telling me yes or no as I take out the names of some fans out there on social media. Starting with batters, Virat Kohli, yes. Rohit Sharma, yes. Shikhar Dhawan, yes. Shikhar still gets a nod. Ishan Kishan, yes. Surya Kumar Yadav, yes. Shreyas Iyer, yes. Hardik Pandya, yes. Sanju Samson, Deepak Huda, Ravindra Jadeja, yes. Washington Sundar, yes. Akshar Patel, yes. Shardul, Bumrah, yes. Siraj, Shami, yes. Arshdeep, Yuzi, yes. Kuldeep, Umran. Yes. I must admit I was expecting a much louder roar for Sanju. Well, that's what fans usually do with Sanju's name around here, Kumar. You're well used to that. Starting with you, Gautam, how many of these players are in your list of 20? And 20 might just be a number that we've heard. It could be more than that, as Irfan quite particularly talked about. Is this a good bunch or any changes for you?
Look, most of them. And obviously you would want to add a couple more, especially in the fast bowling department, and you definitely would want to have KL Rahul in that mix as
Who
well.
probably from this list is not in your scheme of things?
Probably Shardul, because see, you've got Hardik Pandya. It's very difficult to have someone like Shardul, and he's more for bits and pieces. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. So I would definitely have KL Rahul as my backup wicket keeper. And unfortunately, there was no KL Rahul in this 20. And then you would definitely want to have Prasidh Krishna in there as well, and Prithvi Shaw. Look, Prithvi Shaw is someone, I've said that before as well. The job of the selectors and the management is not just to go out there and pick your 15 or 20. The job of a management and the selectors is to get people on the right track as well if they've got the talent. And Prithvi Shaw is someone who's destructive. He can win you games. He can play at the template, what we've heard so much about, in a very natural way, because that's his natural template to bat. So definitely we want to have him around the group and get him right on the right track as well.
Okay, Irfan, I'm going to come to you, especially with bowlers and the injury concerns. Sangha coming to you in a moment. But former chairman of selectors, Chika, Deepak Huda features in the list. You've been pretty vocal about that.
Yeah, definitely, yes. I mean, Shardul and Shikhar Dhawan, no way.
Not in your scheme.
I agree with whatever Gautam said about Shardul Thakur. No chance. For me, the four medium paces will be, or fast medium paces will be Umrah Malik, Arshdeep Singh, and then you have Bumrah, and then you have Mohammad Siraj. Then you have Hardik Pandya. That's it. Matter ends.
But there isn't another medium pace all-rounder backup, and as luck would have it, I mean, in the last couple of years, Shardul Thakur's picked up the most number of wickets for India in ODIs.
But then you see the number of runs he's given also. Please.
Fair enough. Okay, Sangha, from this list for you.
Well, it's an interesting one because I'm more concerned about Sri Lanka and they're playing 11 rather than the Indian 11, because I want Sri Lanka to win.
I know, but since you work with a lot of these players very closely, in fact, we might ask you for a quick update on Prasidh Krishna as well.
I think Prasidh is a brilliant bowler. He's underrated in my view. He's got high pace, bounce and swing, and with a new ball, if you want penetration, he's someone that you can't look beyond. It's not a bad place to be when you have such a wide array of choices for your first 15. And I think the real key is to understand what it's going to take to win in India. I think you can't play the same template as 2011. You can't play the same template as 2014-15 with the rule changes, new balls, the opposition that you're playing. I think you set the strategy first, but how to go about winning it, and then pick the best players to try and execute that strategy. You've got Bumrah, you have Siraj, Krishna, even Shami with that new ball and through the middle can be very, very effective. It's going to be a combination, but for me the key player is going to be, is Hardik going to be fit enough to bowl? And if he can bowl, it doesn't really matter in terms of getting the other selection right. You can have the skill and all of that, but that support role that Hardik plays with the ball is going to be absolutely crucial to balance the Indian side.
That's just why I waited, because Irfan's best place to talk about bowlers. Irfan, do you want a backup for Hardik Pandya, which as we stand is Shardul Thakur? And how do you make sure just everyone stays injury-free in this list?
See, we need to understand where we're going to play the World Cup. If we play in the overseas, this World Cup in 2023, then I would be thinking, yes, Hardik Pandya will be most crucial. And but in India, we know that in 2011 World Cup, Yuvraj Singh was our main all-rounder. He was spinning all-rounder. So in these conditions in India, we can allow our team to have 1 or 2 spin bowling all-rounder and we'll be fine. If Hardik Pandya fit and he's ready to go, best thing can happen to the team. But if it doesn't happen for some reason, you can still be fine with spinning all-rounders. So you need to have that quality. You need to have guys like Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, but most importantly Deepak Hooda as well in that scheme of things, because he's a batter. In your list, he's the only guy who can bowl. He just took 4 wickets in the New Zealand series. So he needs to get a long run as well. And most importantly, you need extra pace or extra bounce. Prasidh Krishna will be my guy in that. Has to be if he's fit. And where is Avesh Khan? You need to keep that in mind as well. He was the guy who was playing regular cricket before the World Cup. He's got that extra bounce, and whatever you need to do in this fast pitch, in the slow pitches, you can do something with the ball extra, either bounce or pace.
Okay, well, as we're drawing the show to a close, I thought we'll finish it up with a quick rapid fire. We'll just request you maybe one-word answers, maybe a very specific sentence. I'm going to start with the opener here. What is Indian team's biggest strength? Gautam.
Jasprit Bumrah.
Jasprit Bumrah. Chika.
I think, yeah, definitely, yes. I still believe that Ishan Kishan.
Okay, Irfan.
I think express pace of Umran Malik.
Sangha.
I'll go Hardik Pandya.
Hardik Pandya. What is the one thing you think the Indian team lacks as of now where we stand, Irfan?
Right now, obviously the Umran Malik is there. Looking back, we just lacked total express pace, which actually I think Umran can give you.
Gautam.
Backup for Hardik. I think if there is something happens to Hardik, I think India's got to be in serious trouble.
Chika.
Batting all-rounder. A
Sangha.
guy who can bat well, can bowl up to 4-5 overs.
Certainty to get your core right and your squad right early as possible.
As early as possible. So many options. Problem of plenty. What kind of a player does the Indian team need most desperately right now, Chika, to begin with? What kind of variety? Would you go into the batting all-rounder, or it's too late to look at someone new?
I think we need all-rounders, more all-rounders.
All-rounders, okay.
Let's put a batting, bowling, whatever it is, more all-rounders in the team.
Yeah.
Someone who can bowl alongside Jasprit Bumrah, especially in the death overs. You can't just be dependent on Jasprit Bumrah to do the job day in, day out, especially in the World Cup.
Irfan.
More than the players, and I think what kind of approach we're going to have in this leading up to this 9 months of cricket before the World Cup.
The blueprint.
I think just a fit 11, a proper fit 11. If you can work that out, I think you've got the skill. India's got the skill to have a great squad.
We've got a very fit 4 here. And let me just take them. A final question, and you can pick your name as a quirky one. I will start with Kumar Sangakkara, the legend here from the 2011 World Cup. And here, along with India, you can answer for Sri Lanka as well. One player that you'd like to bring back into selection for the 2023 World Cup.
A fully fit and bowling Angelo Matthews.
I sort of knew that's coming. From the Indian team?
Oh. Well, there's a man sitting to your right who wasn't too bad in that final. I think you need that kind of attitude and to win big moments. I think that's the key in big tournaments, right? You have the side that supports and everyone contributes, but then you get big moments where you got to step up and take the match on. And Gigi was that player in the final.
Yeah, in fact, both of them to the right. 2007, top scorer, 2011. Gautam Gambhir! You can, but I know you never will bring yourself back.
No, I will.
Oh,
I
not
will.
that. Go
Not
for it.
myself, but I will definitely bring Yuvraj Singh back. India has not produced a better white ball cricketer. For me, I think he was the best white ball cricketer India has ever produced. So if one person, not only in 2023, probably going forward as well, Yuvraj Singh.
See, it's a tricky one for Irfan now because his best friend to his left has already been picked. The most obvious answer, Yuvraj Singh, has been picked. Now you're going for Irfan.
Zahir Khan's quality. Zahir Khan's quality, because I think he was very special in that World Cup. And the attitude to make the India shirt dirty, like my friend used to do. Give everything all. Whoever plays, just give everything all. And once you do that, the results and the cups keeps coming.
Zach attack, one lefty talking about right. Maybe Arshdeep is listening keenly. So I think it's only fair that we wrap it up with the man who actually selected that team. The chairman of selectors. Now
Guys,
you have this
you
luxury,
guys have picked
Chika.
everybody else. What do I do? I have to pick some
See,
other guy, or a fresh guy at least.
Chairman
What
never
do I
had it easy, did he?
do? All right, fine. Then I'll go for Tendulkar.
It's just been 12 years, but I think even after 12, 24, 36, whenever we'll come to Wankhede, this name, this chant will forever echo here.
Excuse me.
There, I mean, we are
Can
in
you
fact
just pan
sitting
the
at the
camera
Sachin
there? Can you
Tendulkar
just
stand.
pan the camera
So, I mean,
there?
yeah, we'll have to pan the cameras. Chika always making sure there is movement. But
We are sitting in Sachin
we are very
Tendulkar stand.
lucky. We are indeed very lucky. We're here at the Sachin Tendulkar stand. He'd be watching just like 140 crore Indians. We've just kick-started this very special 2023 right from here, from the Wankhede, where there is still ecstasy moving around, but we're hoping that it finishes with another World Cup for Team India. The entire journey is going to be on the Star Sports Network, starting from India versus Sri Lanka on the 10th of January. Sanga's smiling right now. It should be a great year. Oh, I like it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon.